All right. Welcome, 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 everyone. This is Tracy Una Wagner with Versatile Inspirations. And today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite techniques with Reiki, or it's actually its own modality. It is Karuna Reiki. And you'll probably understand why it's so beloved with those Reiki practitioners that actually use it. It's a beautiful, gentle yet highly effective technique that you can use when you learn Karuna Reiki. So let me screen share and we'll get started. All right, and there again, we are going to be discussing Karuna Ki Reiki, or some people just call it Karuna Reiki. So let me start out by going over maybe a little bit about what Reiki is. If you've not heard of it and you just happen upon this particular Reiki video, I just kind of want to give a brief overview of what Reiki is. You've probably heard about it or at least heard it mentioned before. But Rei, the first part of Reiki, is called spiritual wisdom. And Ki means life force energy. So when you put the two words, Rei and Ki, together into Reiki, it is just spiritual wisdom through the life force energy. What does Reiki in and of itself do? It's used for many different things, some of which include holistic wellness. It relieves stress. It creates balance. It clears blocks, cleanses energy, it relaxes, and it really, at its core, what it does, it assists the natural healing process within one's own body. So for Karuna Ki, or just Karuna, either one is correct. You can use the Karuna Ki, which some people like to say that, or just Karuna. What it is it assists in awakening to universal compassion. Now, you may have heard of universal consciousness. So universal consciousness is the universe and all time and space and everything in between, the consciousness of that. Everybody's collective consciousness goes into the universal consciousness, and so you've got this huge mass of consciousness. So just think about it on a compassion basis. So you have universal compassion being assisted. So what does that mean? So universal is considered the universe, or all time, all space, and anything that's in between. So multidimensional, past, present, future, and anything in between, all over. I mean, just for everyone, everything. And compassion means the desire to alleviate another's suffering or the illusion of suffering. So universal compassion, what that Karuna Ki or Karuna Reiki does is it helps alleviate the suffering for all beings everywhere. Is that amazing? Alleviating just the pain or the suffering or anything that's in between that. It helps when you learn the Karuna Reiki, it actually helps to uncover those things that are causing suffrage or causing pain, whether that is mental, emotional, or physical, past, present, or future, in any kind of dimension. So it is an amazing technique. So the origins of Karuna Ki Reiki, it started as the millennium with over 1 million people that were practicing the Usui Reiki. There seemed to be dedicated practitioners, those that actually used it on a regular basis, did a lot of healing, whether it was just for themselves or others, people that were just very in tune with the Reiki process. what happened was they were experiencing, receiving, or channeling new symbols, tools, instructions, and lots of other things. It's still going on today. It doesn't seem like there's an end to the knowledge of Reiki or any other kind of modality that is out there. It just grows and expands because as we grow and expand, we need new techniques, we need new ideas or things to help us in the new frame that we're in. So as the millennium came about, the new millennium, there was over 1 million people that were just practicing Usui Reiki. And so with that, we gained some new knowledge, some new symbols, some new tools and techniques that we could use that would heighten and transform our use of Reiki for different things, for different people, and for different situations. Some of those that were guided to do so, they sent these new channeled or just received tools and symbols and what they were for, instructions, and so on. They sent them to the International Center for Reiki Training, the ICRT. This is a place that actually really works closely with practitioners of Reiki. They train Reiki students, whether that is just Reiki 1, 2, or 3. They also have created with William Rand, who is the president of ICRT, and a few others that received this information. They tested it, they researched it, they tried it out themselves, some of these symbols and stuff. And what they did was they created Karuna Reiki. And they found that some of these symbols that they put together to form a new course, a new training, and a new modality in connection with Reiki, they found that it really works with lifting of the compassion or the ability to transform people's pains and sorrows. And so those that had a real desire to work with and to help people on a compassionate level, then they put this course together, this Karuna course, for those who wanted to do that, who wanted to help people, who had compassion, a very deep sense of compassion, and not only for themselves, but for others as well. And it's been taught to lots of people, those that have been called into the Karuna Reiki. It's been taught since 1994. So Karuna Reiki, you should have an understanding that no matter if you're a light worker, an earth angel, or anyone that works with energy, these people still have shadow parts. We still have shadow parts. What Karuna Reiki does is it helps to shine a light on those shadows. It's as if when you learn or you experience Karuna Reiki, it's as if a light is being shined on those areas in order for them to be seen and transmuted and ultimately healed. It is very subtle, it's very gentle, yet it's highly effective, and it works very quickly. And some people are ready for it, and some people, it takes a while for them to accept that, just because it is this bright, beautiful light, and some people still have so much that they're carrying, that sometimes it's a little much all at once. Sometimes you have to go a little bit slower with working with Karuna Reiki. Sometimes for practitioners, even people that are learning how to use Karuna Reiki, sometimes it takes a while for them to actually go through this course because it's uncovering the shadowed areas of yourself as well. And so sometimes those reprogrammings or those shadow parts of us are hard to see, are hard to acknowledge and work through. And we just need some more time in order to process that. Karuna Reiki is a wonderful way for us to actually help lift not only those shadows from ourselves, but as we do so, we're lifting it for the universal compassion, for the universal family, for one another, because what you would learn in Karuna Reiki is that we all are one. And if we work on ourselves, we're actually helping to work on others as well. Not to get into the free will, because that has nothing to do with that, because you are in charge of your own free will. This is on an energetic level. This universal, just like universal consciousness is on that higher level, so is universal compassion. But nonetheless, it still works on that higher level. And light workers that have a tendency towards feeling compassion and wanting to help people, the Karuna Reiki is a wonderful modality and tool that you can use to effectively, quickly, gently, but to its core, work highly effectively. So just know that though there are light workers, earth angels, and people that work in energy healing, we still have shadow parts. We're human. We're human. We're a spiritual being experiencing this physical reality, but with it, we carry within ourselves and our being those traumas and crises and patterns that came with us from other lifetimes, from other dimensions. And there again, Karuna Reiki is a wonderful outlet to help to release those once and for all. It's just beautiful. So, and if you have been struggling with acknowledging the fact that you are a light worker or you are an earth angel, or if you've struggled with the idea that you just can't do energy healing. Why? Because I have too much baggage. I have too much of this. I have too much of that. Let that go, because everyone does. It doesn't matter who you are. If we were so enlightened, we wouldn't be here. We would have ascended already. So just know, because you're here, you get the opportunity to release the shadow parts, to release the baggage that has come with us once we manifested again in this physical realm. Just know that you have this beautiful opportunity, whether you would like to learn how to work with other people and yourself on releasing these shadow parts and to show compassion, or maybe you just want to experience it. Maybe you just want to have a session that from someone who offers the Karuna Reiki. Then that's just fine too. At least have one instance where you have someone perform a session of Karuna Reiki on you. Experience it. See what the difference is between just Reiki and the Karuna Reiki. See if it really resonates with you. And this will actually probably tell you so much more than just listening to me or reading in a book or just asking someone, because everyone has their own shadows. And so it's going to be different for everyone. But once you experience it, once you understand the process and what you go through, you may just find that this is a wonderful tool in your spiritual toolkit to offer other people, including just yourself. Karuna Reiki is on a higher frequency. We're on the frequency of love, compassion. That is one of the highest frequencies. And because you're working with this so much, what it does is now the frequency of just Reiki is very powerful. Don't get me wrong at all. It is extremely powerful. With the Karuna Reiki, it's just at a higher level. And so when we tap into that higher level, what happens is you're able to go deeper. You're able to uncover, to help people accept, to transmute, and to heal those shadow areas. It's just like you're walking towards a light. If you were way back, there would be more shadows cast. But as you get closer to the light, the less there are shadows. And so you're in the light a lot more. That's where that compassion and love lie, is in that area of frequency. It harmonizes both the upper and the lower chakras at once. So it really grounds them, it harmonizes them, it allows them to spin at their frequency for the optimal benefit and for your optimal benefit. And so it's a very quick and easy way to really work with those upper and lower chakras and get them in balance so that you can work with the other elements within the subtle energy body and the physical body. This higher frequency will allow you to connect with your spirit guides and your spirit teams for better communication. Once you hit that level, that higher frequency, that frequency of love and compassion on a regular basis to help other people and to help yourself, the messages are just going to be downloaded. That's why when people in the new millennium, when people were experiencing these higher levels, going into these higher frequencies and being able to just channel or just download this information, it was probably mind-boggling, because when you're able to do that, the collective consciousness is there. And not only that, but your spirit guides, angels, ascended masters, so many others are in that realm, that universal consciousness realm, that divine love and compassion realm, that once you hit that realm, that level, that frequency, everything just kind of can come into your being, and you'll receive the information that you need to know when you need to know it, and exactly in the manner it needs to get to you, and just when it's supposed to get to you. This area of frequency allows the acceptance of spiritual divine guidance or your intuition. Once you work in this frequency, you're going to know when to trust your gut, when it is your intuition that is talking. You're going to know it just like you know the sky is blue, or there's clouds in the sky today, or that flower's pink, or whatever else. You're going to know it as fact. It is amazing. It is just truly a gift. It truly is. So what happens when you experience Karuna? So like I said, we all have different shadows, different things that need to be processed, healed, transmuted, or repatterned. So what happens is when we experience Karuna, you may experience it totally different than the way I experience it. And your neighbor may experience it different than how you or I experience it. And the only reason for that is because we're all individuals. What happens is we are an individual piece of a whole puzzle. And so you may feel it, you may see it, you may hear it, you may smell it, you may taste it, or you just may know it. So when that happens, one of these things is going to happen, and you're just going to know and be able to accept it just on a purely divine basis. What also happens are these old patterns that are running throughout your subconscious mind are released. These old patterns are released, and what happens is, because we're tapped into the universal consciousness, the universal compassionate consciousness, then they are repatterned. These old patterns are repatterned after they've been released, and they will be for your highest and best good. Tapping into your intuition, tapping into your spirit guides, your spirit team, the downloaded information, you're going to be able to know what it is that you need to do or experience or whatever else quickly and easily to repattern and release these old stagnant patterns. The emotional and mental repatterning, notice that when we talk about the old patterns or the emotional mental repatterning, and here again in the cellular healing, when I talk about how you experience Karuna, just know that all of these are kind of intermingled. The old patterns, the emotional, mental, those are old patterns as well. What happens is, whether it's from a past lifetime, a future lifetime, a different dimensional lifetime, or from while we were growing up in this lifetime that we're in, old patterns get planted in our subconscious mind. And when I went through hypnosis training, that is one thing that we worked with, is seeing the patterns, the old subconscious patterns, and try to change those so that we can change different ideas on smoking, weight loss, and other traumas or other things. With Karuna Reiki, what happens is it's all on an energetic level. It cuts through any doubts, any egos, anything that would try and block, and it cuts through those blocks and shadows, and it goes directly to the subconscious and gently repatterns those emotional and mental patternings. It does it on a cellular level. It heals on a cellular level, and so it repatterns on that same cellular level, in that own frequency, on that own level. So it just lifts it out, transmutes it, and allows for the healing to begin. It's just like if you were stuck in a pattern of, take smokers for instance. If someone, my mom was a lifetime smoker, and so after she would eat dinner, she would immediately grab a cigarette. So that pattern of, when you were done eating, you wanted to have something to do with your hands, so she would smoke. So cutting through that, realizing that that is an old pattern, we want to change that pattern. So Karuna Reiki, especially when we're acknowledging this fact, it goes in and gently and effectively on that level, because it's really, if you think about it, it's not really happening on a physical level. It's happening in that mental and emotional level first and foremost. And you can't get into the mental and emotional physically. You have to do it on either the hypnotic state, where you're working with the subconscious and working with the understanding of why this happens, or you can use the Karuna Reiki that activates it on a frequency, on that high love, compassion frequency that helps to unblock and unlock that shadow part or that blockage to freedom. and it just allows it to happen. This is such a blessing to so many. I just can't even say enough good about the Karuna Reiki. This was something that early on in my learning, when I first started learning about light workers and energy work, there was nothing really talked about shadow work and things like that. Maybe one or two people that you saw that were really in the fray of everything, really out there with these new ideas, talking about shadow work. They were few and far between. Now we're hearing it a little bit more because really that is where we're looking at creating a lasting healing effect. And so once we uncover those shadows, then you'll find that it is a longer lasting healing. Sometimes complete and total healing. Sometimes those repatternings or those just those mental and emotional patterns or those old patterns that need to be released, sometimes we go back because it's easy to go back. When we're doing a physical thing, sometimes it's like, oh, I remember, yeah, I'm supposed to do this other thing because it feels better. It feels familiar. And so sometimes we just go back to those old patterns because we haven't done enough work to realize why we need to release it. And we've always got free will, right? So because we have free will, we can go right back to the old patterns. But the more we practice Karuna Reiki, the more you'll be able to let that go. What really is interesting to me, how I got the knowledge of Karuna Reiki, was a long, long, long time ago when I first went through my Reiki 1 training. I went through the training, and afterwards, my friend actually had taught me through her course, the Reiki 1, with some of her other friends and some other people that wanted to learn it as well. And afterwards, she said, you know, as you were getting the attunement, I really heard that you should take Karuna Reiki. And I had no idea what it was. All I knew was I really wanted to become a Reiki master teacher. So anything to let me get onto that path, that's, you know, so don't give me any other thoughts or ideas. But from Reiki 1 to Reiki 2, she kept saying, you know what, I really think that you need to practice Karuna Reiki. It just keeps coming to me. And so I went on to become a Reiki master teacher, crystal Reiki master teacher, and I just barely looked into the Karuna Reiki, just looked into it. Oh, it's all about compassion. And one of the spirit guides that comes up a lot is an ascended master called Kuan Yin. And Kuan Yin is all about compassion. So she'll probably pop up in your world a lot if you work with Karuna Reiki or compassion on any level. But I kept hearing about Karuna Reiki, and then I picked up a book that I was just kind of scrolling through and just kind of looking to see what else was the big deal about Karuna Reiki. And what struck me was they talked about the transpersonal energy system. Now, this was something that I learned probably when I was about a Reiki practitioner, Reiki 2. When I was learning Reiki 2, I was going through my studies, and when I heard the word transpersonal, it just blew my mind because I loved learning different modalities. I loved learning about different thesos and that's, and how to apply them. And what I noticed was whether it was tarot, oracle card reading, the pendulum, angel messages, or channeled writing, anything and everything, I found that it all happened in this transpersonal area. Now, transpersonal means outside the body, just beyond the person or individual. So if you think about it, all of these messages and things are coming to us in a transpersonal way. Our subtle energy body is located on the outside of our body. It's inside as well, but it starts on the outside. We're energy, and so our energy flows. So it's not just our physical being, it's our energetic body. So when I saw that Karuna Reiki worked with these transpersonal chakras and this transpersonal energy system, which this is the transpersonal energy system as a whole, it includes the original 7 chakras, which are inside of our subtle body, but in our physical body. The new chakras, which are inside still of our physical being in the subtle energy body, and also the soul self, the earth star, which is down at the bottom there, the causal chakra, which is just right towards the back and just a little bit up, the soul star, which is about 3 to 6 inches above the head, and the stellar gateway, which is anywhere between 6 and 12 inches above the head. These last 4 chakras are in the transpersonal realm. These are the 4 chakras, and you'll see the soul star. I put that right there in the middle there because that's where your soul self is. Your soul self is in the middle of your chest. But at the bottom is the earth star. There's the causal, there's the soul star, and the stellar gateway. So you have these transpersonal chakras, and Karuna Reiki realized that this is where we are getting that information and how we're filtering it down so that we can use it, hear it, accept the intuition that is coming to us, accept the messages that we're receiving. And it explained it beautifully to me. I loved the explanation that Karuna Reiki gave for how we interpret those messages. It's a filtration system. That's all it is. The different areas, these different chakras have different things that are associated with them. But really, if we work with the transpersonal energy system, what it's doing is it's filtering that information. It's filtering the flow of energy, whether that's healing energy, compassion energy, or just the energy for us to accept our intuition and those messages just easily and effortlessly. That's what it's for. So let's see if we can get it to go. On a most basic level, always remember that no matter what other kind of Reiki we're talking about, whether it's Reiki Master Teacher, Reiki 1, Karuna Reiki, or any of the other Reiki systems out there, it's all about the original Reiki. It all started with that Usui Reiki. Reiki 1, 2, and 3 are your foundations, and then you can move forward into the Karuna Reiki or the Lemurian Reiki, Crystal Reiki. They're all add-ons. They're all helpful new modalities, and people are channeling things on a higher level all the time now. Karuna Reiki is all about compassion, all about universal compassion. And I hope that you'll be able to use that soon or experience it soon. You don't even have to use it, just experience it. If you'd like to learn more about Karuna Reiki, I'm going to leave some information down below. All right, there you go. Can you imagine a universal compassion that heals on that high frequency? What a beautiful gift this Karuna Reiki has given to us all. I hope you can experience it soon. Thank you again for spending some time with me today. I know this one ran a little long, but I'm so passionate about this particular Reiki because it's just a beautiful example of how we can heal on a very compassionate level and yet have it highly effective. Thank you again. Have a wonderful day. And as always, I'm sending you and yours love, light, and eternal blessings. Take care.